Yeah, because I mean, when you start, I mean, even in episode 5, when we talk about risk management, right? It's really trying to understand like the business itself and who you deal with, both from the customer side, both from the other supplier or vendor side, and depending on the different business. But I mean, if there are supply chain and there's purchasing of certain materials or products that are coming even domestic, but more so international too, that could really lead to maybe delays or higher costs and but even lost sales. But interest rates, I mean, that kind of just drives the cost of capital, things, it makes growth more expensive, right? And even inflation, it just erodes the purchasing power. But the margins really get affected by that too. So when we say like to really kind of minimize or be proactive is really paying attention to the macroeconomics of both the domestic, whatever country you're in, but also just international too, because if you deal in that space, it does affect it. Meaning it's looking at the supply chain, like if you are dealing overseas, like what will happen if that gets skyrocketed and there's supply chain delays? Like, can you source that product somewhere else that are it's equal, the same quality that you've been producing? What's your plan B there? um but even
Mm,
rates, if you're looking to, fund the business for growth capital and you need to obtain some funding through interest rates there, that, if that it starts to increase, well, it starts to get more expensive too. Maybe there's, if there's, potential rate hikes in the near future, then maybe we should, start looking at some funding options now to lock in a rate, things like that. But, inflation just makes, purchasing power, it just gets eroded pretty fast. So, you know, maybe some
mm.
customers really aren't buying as much anymore, and that might affect business too. So there's a lot to think about when you start dealing with the macroeconomics here for not only the economy, but just your business itself.